You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Want to know something that's scary? Not having a plan when it comes to teaching social skills. This is a hot topic that I'm sure you're seeing tons of referrals for, especially at this point in the school year. I love to teach social skills preventatively in a class lesson and as needed in small groups and individual sessions. But you may be tired of your same old boring social skills activities and games. That's why I've got you covered with my brand new training, Not So Scary Social Skills. I'll be sharing ideas and easy to implement strategies for you to use right away in class lessons, small groups, and individual settings. The best part is this 4-part video series is absolutely free. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/scary to sign up today. Everyone who watches the 4-part video series will receive a free social skills activity as well as a PD certificate. Take the fear out of teaching social skills this spooky season. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/scary to get started today. Thanks for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So it is October, and October is Bullying Prevention Month. Now, there are so many different awareness, holidays, trends, and months. It can be hard if you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many to focus on. How do I know what to focus on and when? And I always encourage you to look at your school population. Look at the ASCA awareness calendar. I'll link to that in the show notes so you can check out when these different important days are, or months, or weeks to spread awareness about important topics. So it can be hard to decide, but one that I've always focused on has been bullying prevention. Unfortunately, there is bullying at every school I've worked at, regardless of the socioeconomic status or the population or the country even. There's bullying everywhere, right? So bullying prevention has always been something I've been passionate about. And I like to, celebrate Bullying Prevention Month in October because it's toward the beginning of the school year. So it's a great way to review this with students. So I've done a few episodes on bullying prevention in the past, but I wanted to kind of do a different spin on it this time and talk to you guys about different types of bullying and how you can focus on those depending on what the need is at your school. So you can kind of dive deep on the bullying that you see the most. For example, we have cyberbullying. So perhaps at your school, kids are having a lot of issues with cyberbullying. Then you may want to focus on that this month. But maybe you're at a school where kids don't, have as much access to technology, or maybe they don't have smartphones, or, I don't know. Maybe you're not seeing that as much, but maybe you're seeing more relational aggression. Maybe, your 5th grade girls are just going at it. Or perhaps you're seeing a lot of physical bullying. It's just kind of different everywhere. So I'm going to give you some ideas on the different routes that you can take this month in terms of bullying prevention. So first up, cyberbullying. Now, I love to recommend Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media is a great free resource, and we will link to it in the show notes. Great for cyberbullying resources. I have used it countless times. You can sort on there by grade level, by age. I think they even have a tab that's for educators, because they have a lot of parent resources also. But if you go to educators, you can find actual lesson plans with videos and questions and activities, all the things for free regarding cyberbullying. And they also touch on digital citizenship and things like that, technology safety. But I can't recommend this enough for cyberbullying. So please go there. It's amazing. But I also wanted to share with you an activity that I've created that is kind of fun. And it is a choose your own adventure timeline. So this is where you would say, you're going to have different cards, and you'll have them planned out in advance in your head, kind of based on the actions of a student, the 2 different options that could happen. So for example, I have one like this in terms of oversharing information, so cyber safety. And it's okay, if you give someone your phone number, what could happen? Oh, they could contact you and harass you, and then what could happen? They show up at your school, and then what could happen? Something bad. Or if you tell them no, I'm not going to share that information, they go away. So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, the 2 different roads that you can take based on an initial decision that may seem small. Now, that's an example for cyber safety, but you could do this with cyberbullying. So you could say, Okay, you write something mean on someone's Instagram post. What happens as a result of that? Then what happens as a result of that? Then what happens as a result of that? Ultimately leading to something like suicide, because unfortunately that is a reality. And a lot of times we're reluctant to talk to our kiddos about a hard topic like this. But I remember, at the Ask a conference this past summer, I was in a session on suicide prevention at the elementary level. And they were like, guys, at 5th grade, they're already talking about it, so you might as well talk about it too, because they already know what it is and they're already talking about it. So, know your audience, know the age of the kids you're working with and what's developmentally appropriate. But you could talk about how, something that seems small and just like a little mean gesture, but over time, this repeated cyberbullying can really lead to horrible, horrible things. And then on the other side, what would happen if you wrote something nice in a comment? Maybe show the scenarios that would develop as that, all the way to like a new friendship developing. So that's just kind of a cool activity to get the kids thinking. You can, have these on different index cards, and then the kids are kind of like making a physical path with index cards where that's initially starting with the same cards. Like, you're going to write a comment, but then what happens based on the kind of comment that you write, choose your own adventure. Is it going to end this way, or is it going to end this way? So that's just kind of a cool visual activity that kids can do that I was thinking in terms of cyberbullying. Now, perhaps you're seeing a lot of relational aggression bullying. Now, relational aggression, super common. Like I said, the 5th grade girls, the middle school girls, boys too, but primarily with the girl groups, you're seeing this a lot as they're trying to navigate these friendship dynamics. An activity I like to use is social media posts and the THINK acronym. So you're saying, is this post thoughtful, helpful, inspiring, necessary, or kind? That's the THINK acronym. I used to have a poster of that in my office, but you can make up fake posts and have the kids discuss, in a small group or in a class lesson. Is this post thoughtful? Is this helpful? Is this inspiring? Is this necessary? And is this kind? The post itself, and then comments maybe too. Or if you want, you could get the kids like in a small group to share their own accounts, and you could kind of dissect some of their posts if they want to be vulnerable. That could be kind of fun too. So that's a good one for relational aggression. And then there's a fun activity. If you have Jenga blocks, you can do building with words and tearing down with words. So you can, as you're building the Jenga tower, say like, this would be something you could say to build up someone's self-esteem, to build them up. But this would be something that would tear them down, saying mean comments, talking behind their back, gossiping. So that's just a cool way, another visual, again, to explain relational aggression. I have a few relational aggression resources that I'll link to in the show notes. One is like an activity pack that you could use at a variety of levels, and one is a small group. So I will link to those, but I'm really passionate about relational aggression. It's just the groups are good. Like the girls, really get into it, and the visual aspects of some of these activities can really help them. So I encourage you to try those out, the social media one or the Jenga building blocks. Okay, so that was cyberbullying and relational aggression in terms of bullying. Those are two like subtopics of bullying that you could dive deep on this month in an effort to do bullying prevention. But if you want, it is October. Bullying Prevention Month is always October, so I love to do some seasonal stuff as well. I did an earlier episode about, fun ways to do seasonal counseling things. So if you want to go Halloween with it, I've got some ideas for you. You could do like some school-wide activities, like make a pumpkin paper chain, so where students can write the reason why they are choosing not to bully. And then, it can be like orange and black, and you make a big paper chain, hang it around the school. Bookmarks, I love to do like some bookmarks that are like bullying is scary, and they have ghosts on them or Frankenstein, whatever. I have some examples of these I'll link to in the show notes as well. Or little pumpkins with just nice statements on them, like kindness pumpkins that you just pass out that say like, you're a good friend, I'm so glad you're here, I love who you are, whatever. The kids can write their own, or you can use the ones that are already available, and then you can just distribute those out, just like fun little kindness pumpkins to hide around the school. Kids will find them. I love that. And I have a Halloween theme like bullying prevention board game, super fun for small groups. I'll link to that in the show notes for you guys. So those are like some Halloween ideas if you want to get seasonal with it. Bullying is scary, something like that. And then in general, I have some good resources for you guys, some websites that are a good place to start when it comes to like free lesson plans and activities. Stop Bullying is one, and it has videos, like some really good videos that you can show students. I find that videos go a long way in terms of like getting kids to think about it, right? Like maybe they'll see someone in the video who they're like, oh, that character's kind of like me, or that kid's kind of like me. And sometimes the bullying prevention videos are like intense, but they really resonate with the kids. The National Bullying Prevention Center has a challenge for kids that's fun, so we'll link to that as well. And then I also like to do a salad bowl charades game. So this is a good way to teach the terminology around bullying. So words like, a bystander, an upstander, social bullying, physical bullying, reporting, all things like this. So I love to do a game like this. It's kind of like there's 3 different rounds. So I have one I'll link in the show notes, but you can make your own super easy. You just need a bowl and some strips of paper, and you'll have on there like different terms. And the kids, the first round, they have to describe the term using as many words as they can. So they can say like, oh, this is the type of bullying when you use the computer to say mean things. And they're like, ooh, cyberbullying. They try to get through as many as they can. And then the second round is a little harder. They're only using one word. So it would be something like computer. And then the kids would say cyberbullying. And then the third round, they're acting it out. So they'd have to act out like they're on the computer. So it's really fun. So I encourage you guys to do something fun like that if you want to clarify like the terminology. And of course you would pair that with like a deeper lesson. So show a video, play the game. Those are just some general tips. But like I said, if you want to do a deep dive on cyber or relational aggression or a different type of bullying, that's a fun approach to take this month. Instead of just doing like your same tired bullying prevention lesson, you can, kind of customize it to fit the needs of your school. And you can always survey your teachers. Hey guys, what kind of bullying specifically are we seeing? Like if you kind of feel out of the loop, or if you're a new counselor, you could ask what they're kind of seeing in an effort to tackle that specific topic. And of course, you can do some fun Halloween stuff if you're in the mood as well. Okay, I hope you found this podcast episode helpful. I would love to see what you're doing. Please send me a message or tag me on Instagram at Bright Futures Counseling. I would love to see the bullying prevention activities you're doing at your school site. And don't forget, during October, I'm doing my Not So Scary Social Skills video series. This is a free video training series where I'm going to be talking all about social skills. So social skills don't have to be scary. I am going to give you lots of tools to teach them. I think you're really going to love it. So it's a 4-part video series. It's absolutely free, and you get a free social skills activity for signing up. So go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/scary to sign up for the free social skills video series. All right, guys, talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.